You walk into a room, you open your mouth, and within 10 seconds, you are a ghost. People look at their phones. They look over your shoulder. They nod, but their eyes are empty. They have completely tuned you out. You are speaking, but you have no voice. You think the problem is that you are boring. You think you need to be louder. You think you need to tell better stories or be funnier or wear a more expensive suit. You are wrong. The reason they ignore you is not because you are giving them too little. It is because you are giving them too much. You are committing the cardinal sin of communication, a mistake so common and so deadly that it instantly strips a man of his authority. You are explaining yourself. You are justifying your existence. You are desperately trying to prove to the room that you belong there. And the moment you do that, the moment you lay out all your reasons, your excuses, and your thoughts for their approval, they know you don't belong. Before we go any further, decide. Are you a tourist looking for a quick trick to make people like you? If you are, turn this off. Go back to the noise. Go back to being ignored. But if you are ready to rebuild your foundation, if you are ready to become a man of consequence, a man who controls the room without ever raising his voice, then you belong here. Subscribe to the channel right now. This is not a request. It is a draft. Sign your name, join the family, and let's begin the work. Let us talk about economics for a moment. What happens when a government prints too much money? The money loses its value. It becomes worthless paper. You need a wheelbarrow full of it just to buy a loaf of bread. Your words are your currency, and right now you are printing too much of it. You suffer from severe verbal inflation. When someone asks you a simple question, you don't just give them the answer. You give them the backstory. You give them your anxieties. You give them a mountain of context they never asked for. Let me paint the picture. You are late. You walk in. The weak man says, "I am so sorry I'm late. The traffic was terrible on the highway, and my alarm didn't go off because my phone died, and I couldn't find my keys." He is begging. He is begging for forgiveness from the jury. He is handing his power to the room and hoping they are generous enough to give a little bit back. The king walks in. He takes his seat. He looks at the table and says, "Thank you for waiting. Let's begin." No excuses. No backstory. When you over-explain, you are subconsciously telling the other person, "I do not believe my word is good enough on its own. I need to give you a mountain of evidence so you will believe me." Confidence does not explain. Confidence declares. When you flood the air with words, the listener's brain shuts down. They realize that your words are cheap, and people do not pay attention to cheap things. Why do you feel the need to spill your guts to people who haven't earned the right to hear it? It is conditioning. When you were a child in school, the teacher told you to show your work. Giving the right answer wasn't enough. You had to prove how you got there. You were trained to submit to authority by explaining your every move. You are not a child anymore, and the world is not your classroom. But you still act like you are sitting in an interrogation room with a spotlight in your eyes. Someone asks you a casual question about your life, your business, or your choices, and you immediately go on the defensive. "Why did you quit your job?" they ask. You panic. You give them a 15-minute speech about the economy, your boss, your mental health, your 5-year plan. You are playing to their tempo. You are dancing to their beat. You need to control the rhythm. If they ask why you quit, look them in the eye and say, "Because it was time to build my own empire." And then you shut up. Let them wonder. Let them ask follow-up questions if they are brave enough. You are the master of your own information. You do not owe anyone an audit of your life. Society tells you to be the hero. The hero is transparent. The hero is understood by everyone. The hero wants the whole town to know he is a good guy. But the hero is exhausted. He is constantly managing his public relations. Sometimes a man needs to embrace the villain arc. I don't mean becoming evil. I mean adopting the dark, stoic resilience of a man who no longer cares if he is understood by the masses. A man in his villain arc operates in the underground. He has his own standards, his own code, and his own mission. He does not seek permission, and he certainly does not offer explanations. When you stop explaining yourself, people will project their own insecurities onto you. They will call you arrogant. They will call you cold. Let them. Their misunderstanding of you is not your problem to fix. The desire to be perfectly understood by everyone is a disease. It keeps you chained to their opinions. Cut the chain. If they misunderstand you, let them remain confused. You have work to do. You cannot stop your ascent to explain the mechanics of the ladder to people who refuse to climb. The most dangerous men in the world, the men who hold real power, they speak in telegrams. They say exactly what needs to be said, and then they stop. They let the silence hang in the air. Weak men are terrified of the void. When there is a pause in the conversation, the weak man panics. His heart rate spikes. He rushes to fill the empty space with nervous laughter, with useless facts, with rapid agreement. He talks himself out of the sale. He talks himself out of the date. He talks himself out of respect. You must learn to weaponize the silence. When you give an answer, close your mouth. Let your face rest in absolute stillness. Look them in the eye. Let them feel the weight of your words. Let the silence become heavy. Let them be the one to squirm. Let them be the one to rush and fill the void. In a negotiation, the man who speaks first after a long silence usually loses. When you drop a boundary, "I will not accept those terms," and you sit in perfect silence, you become an immovable object. The other person will start negotiating against themselves just to break the tension. Silence is a predator. It hunts the weak. Make sure you are the one holding the leash. This sounds simple in theory. It is agonizing in practice. Your ego is going to scream at you. Your old programming will beg you to keep talking, to soften the blow, to make sure everyone is comfortable. Here is the blueprint. Here is how you execute this, starting today. Rule number 1, the 2-second delay. When someone asks you a question, do not answer immediately. It makes you look eager, like a dog waiting for a treat. Count to 2 in your head. 1, 2, then answer. This minor delay signals that you are deliberate. It adds gravity to whatever you say next. Rule number 2, the complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. I am not interested is a complete sentence. I have other plans is a complete sentence. Stop attaching because to the end of your decisions. The moment you say because, you are opening a door for them to argue with your reasoning. Lock the door. Rule number 3, the stare. When you finish speaking, do not break eye contact and look at the floor. That destroys everything you just built. Deliver your short, concise statement and keep your eyes fixed on theirs. Let the statement land. Rule number 4, embrace the discomfort. You will feel awkward the first 10 times you do this. You will feel like you are being rude. Good. That feeling is the weakness leaving your body. That feeling is the death of the nice guy. Endure it. When you implement this, something strange will happen. People who used to ignore you will suddenly become fascinated by you. Humans are wired to solve puzzles. When you over-explain, you are a solved puzzle. You are a book with the ending written on the front cover. There is no reason to open it. When you speak less, when you offer no justifications, you become a mystery. They will wonder what you are thinking. They will wonder what you are working on. They will start paying very close attention to your actions because your words are no longer spoon-feeding them. You become a gravitational force. You don't need to shout to get their attention. You just need to speak softly, scarcely, and with absolute finality. Your words are weapons. Stop firing them into the air just to hear the noise. Keep them loaded. Keep them hidden. When the time comes to speak, strike with precision. Give them nothing but the cold, hard truth of your decision. And then, return to the silence. Let the rest of the world babble. Let the weak men gossip and explain and apologize for taking up space on this earth. Not you. You are stepping into the dark. You are stepping into your power. Let them ignore the noise. They have no choice but to respect the silence. Now, get to work.